been a lot of talk in recent years that our reality is, in fact, one big computer simulation. A lot of this discourse can be traced back to the work of the Swedish philosopher Nick Bostrom. In his work, he's covered the concept of a human-created artificial intelligence far exceeding our own capabilities, and therefore tricking humanity into giving it the freedom to operate independently, at which point it would be free to subjugate us in what he calls the scenario. Separate from that, in 2003, Bostrom proposed the simulation argument trilemma. The point being that a technologically advanced post-human civilization could have vast computational power, and if even a small number of these beings ran an ancestral simulation of our present, these simulated people would outnumber any actual ancestors, and therefore we would be statistically likely to be living in a simulation.
You can then show that because each mature civilization that devoted some resources to this purpose could run astronomical numbers of ancestor simulations, you can show that if the first two possibilities do not obtain, then there will be many more simulated people like us than there will be non-simulated people like us.
Which brings us neatly to this YouTube video of Dolph Lundgren singing an Elvis cover on Swedish TV.
A little less conversation, a little more action please. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me. A little more bite, a little less bark, a little less fight, a little more spark. Close your mouth and open up your heart, baby, satisfy me. Satisfy.
Broadcast on the Swedish channel SVTV1 in 2010 as part of the Melody Festivalen, the Swedish show used to determine their entry into the Eurovision Song Contest, our man Dolph comes on stage bearing a torch and wearing a black duster, which he then removes to reveal a tuxedo. Joined on stage by these dancers, he breaks into a Vegas-inspired rendition of the Elvis classic A Little Less Conversation. Not content with a mere musical number, the erstwhile Prince Adam of Eternia transitions to a drum solo, a skill he learned in childhood, and resumed for his film Command performance. The chemical engineering postgraduate from the University of Sydney then seamlessly transitions to a brief martial arts demonstration, smashing wooden blocks, then a stack of ice with his bare hands, while a team of mere mortals in karate gi look on. The former MIT Fulbright Scholarship recipient, director, bodyguard and model returns to finish the number before leading a parade of simple flesh creatures off stage. Before we go any further, what do we actually know about Dolph Lundgren? I've already hinted at a few of his achievements, but for the sake of rigorous scientific efficacy, we have to be comprehensive. Born in Spånga, Sweden, 1957, he began judo training aged 7 and karate aged 10, moving on to weightlifting as a teenager, as well as learning to drum. A straight-A student, he spent a year studying chemical engineering at Washington State University, before serving a year of national service with the Swedish Coastal Artillery. Enrolling at the Royal Institute of Technology in Sweden, he graduated with a degree in chemical engineering. During this time he kept up in the dojo, captaining the Swedish karate team and going on to become a European champion. While living in Sydney, Australia, he became a heavyweight champion, also finding time to collect his masters in chemical engineering. Then being awarded the Fulbright Scholarship to MIT. However, he dropped out of this course after falling in love with the musician, actor and model Grace Jones, moving to New York, working as a model and making friends with Andy Warhol and hanging out at Studio 54. Hold tight, he's not even a f***ing actor yet. Jones then put him forward for a role in the 1985 Bond film A View to a Kill. He was able to parlay this into one of his most famous roles, Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. From then he was cast in his first starring role, that of Prince Adam, or He-Man, in Masters of the Universe. The rest you know, a long and varied career as an actor and director. He has completed academia, he's completed martial arts, he's completed being a bodyguard, he's completed sex, he's completed rock and roll, he's completed fitness, he's completed being a movie star, he's completed being a director, he's completed having a family, he's completed being a dad. Was this brilliant man gifted from birth with the right circumstances, the right genetics, the sheer force of will and the personality to achieve things that most of us would struggle with across multiple lifetimes? Was it his difficult relationship with his father that drove him to go above and beyond, to become an almost completely optimised human being? No. Dolph Lundgren is the avatar of a post-human superintelligence that's leveled up all the stats in the character creation tool of an inscrutably sophisticated historical simulation in order to see the final days of mankind from the perspective of a superhuman genius polymath. Our reality is a post-human game of Saints Row 4. We are simply non-player characters condemned to observe in awe of this being who has entered this realm, one he's already completed, possibly even created. Everything we know is a round of New Game Plus, and we're watching Dolph Lundgren completing side quests. Coronavirus is a DLC, and if he gets bored of listening to What Is Love by Hadaway and punching tanks off piers, he might find us a cure. Also, he was in Kindergarten Cop 3. There is only Dolph. There was ever only Dolph. None of us are real. Not me, not you, not your gran, not Gary. We can only observe and hope that he leads us to salvation. Okay, look, he's not the best singer in the world, but if I'm right, I don't want to end up getting skull f***ed by a 6'5" Nietzschean Superman.